The VW Scirocco is a 2+2 coupe based on the Golf. The first generation dates back to 1974. The second generation ended production in 1992. In 2008, with the third generation, Volkswagen breathed new life into its desert wind. Car tester Andre Zimmerman identifies the Scirocco as his very favorite model among VW's current range, mainly because it departs from many of the core values VWs seem to stand for nowadays. Other VWs generally provide lots of space inside, but even after you've squeezed into this one, you may still feel a bit cramped. But it's more a subjective feeling, at least in front. Objectively, anyone 1.85 m or under shouldn't have any problems. That's just over 6 feet tall. We tested the Scirocco R production model with a 2-liter TDI engine under the hood. It puts out 135 kilowatts of power, consuming 4.7 liters of fuel per 100 kilometers. Andre points out that even if the Scirocco seems like a tight fit when getting in, after a few meters you feel almost like a part of the car. The Scirocco's low-flying frame comes into its own in the handling. The low center of gravity reduces pitch and roll, and the lower seats give the car a sportier ride. Andre feels that the Scirocco is brimming with character and emotion, and that makes it more fun to drive. A highlight for him is the 3 extra instruments atop the dash. The boost pressure gauge, for example, though he sees it more as a gimmick that loses its appeal after a few kilometers. There's also a gauge for oil temperature. He says VW can integrate these things in almost any car, but it's especially important in the sports models, where the driver needs to know when the engine's heating up and when he or she can go for maximum performance. Our test car included the optional multifunction sports steering wheel. The sport package costs around 600 euros extra. Andre is surprised how much fun it is to drive the diesel in his test car. After 2,100 revs, it brings out the steam hammer, as he says. But typically for a diesel, the last 1,000 revs of 4,000 or higher are more or less hot air. Otherwise, it packs a punch. The Scirocco's body design clearly expresses more emotional than practical considerations. The windshield areas are relatively small, and the roofline slopes down toward the rear. The Scirocco's widely flared rear fenders leave no doubt that this is a sporty model, and give a strong hint that the cargo space behind the small hatch and high rear lip is likely to be minimal. Andre decides the Scirocco is the Volkswagen for individualists, for people who value design more than practicality. Even so, he's left with a bland taste in his mouth and wondering if the inherently practical VW can ever be truly emotional.